Hi everyone and welcome back to Attic Train 769, and today we're going to be talking about the big engine, the Union Pacific Big Boy. I know we've done a review on this thing already, but we're going to go into a little bit of history and specs of the Big Boy, give you a little bit more depth history on the Big Boys here on the channel, and we'll be looking at our model of the Big Boy, 4014. This is supposed to be a model of it after it was converted to an oil burner. So, the Union Pacific Big Boy is a simple articulated 4884 steam locomotive. It was manufactured by the American Locomotive Works, or ALCO, between 1941 and 1944 and was operated on the Union Pacific Railroad and Revenue Service until 1962. 25 Big Boy locomotives were built to haul freights over the Wasatch Range between Ogden, Utah, and Green River, Wyoming. In the late 1940s, they were reassigned to Cheyenne, Wyoming, where they hauled freight over Sherman Hill to Laramie, Wyoming. They were the only locomotives to use a 4884 wheel arrangement, which meaning 4 leading wheels, 2 sets of 8 driving wheels, and a 4-wheel trailing truck to support the large fireboxes in its head. Today we have 8 surviving examples of the Big Boy that are mostly on static display on museums across the United States. One of them being number 4014, which was reacquired by the Union Pacific between 2014 and 2019 for a rebuild to operating conditions for the 150th anniversary of the Transcontinental Railroad, and thus has regained the title as the largest and most powerful operating locomotive in the world. So we're going to talk here a little bit about the design of the Union Pacific Union Pacific Big Boy. So in 1936, Union Pacific introduced the Challenger type. And these types in 1936 were known as Fetter Challengers. They were a 4664 locomotive, and they were assigned to the Wasatch Range between Green River and Ogden as well. For most of the route, the maximum grade is 0.82% in either direction. But climbing eastward from Ogden, the Wasatch Range reached 1.14% grade. Hauling a 36,000-ton freight train was demanding double headers, so the Union Pacific seeked to find a bigger locomotive to pull those routes with. And those double headers having those helper engines, but they slowed the service going around there. So Union Pacific decided to have a new design that could handle the run by itself and faster and more powerful than the 2880 compound Union Pacific's engines. So the Union Pacific design team was led by Otto Jobelman, the head researcher in mechanical standards section of the Union Pacific, which worked with ALCO to re-examine the Challenger locomotive, and the team found that the railroad's goal could be achieved by enlarging the Challenger, making the firebox about 235 by 96 inches, and increasing the bullet pressure to 300 psi, and adding four driving wheels, and reducing the size of the driving wheels from 69 to 68-inch diameters. The new locomotive was carefully designed not to exceed the axle load of 67,800 pounds. And they were able to achieve the maximum starting tractive effort with factor of adhesive of 4.0. It was designed to travel at speeds at 80 miles an hour safely. To achieve these new engineering goals, the Challenger locomotive was redesigned to look like the Big Boy as well. And these Union Pacific Big Boys and the Challengers, the new sets of Challengers and the new Big Boys were equipped with Baker valve gear. So they were trying to decide what they wanted to call the 4884 class locomotives. Originally, they rumored them to be called the Wasatch type locomotives after the Wasatch mountain range, but it acquired its nickname after an unknown Alco worker scribbled Big Boy in chalk on the front of 4000 smoke box. So they became the Big Boy. And the Big Boys were articulated engines like a Mallet locomotive, although lacking the compounding of a Mallet. They were built with a wide margin of reliability and safety to operate well below 60 miles per hour. In freight service, they peaked the drawbar horsepower at about 41 miles per hour. The maximum drawbar pull measured was in 1943, and it was 138,200 foot-pounds of power coming out of that drawbar. The Big Boy also was the longest engine body of any steam locomotive out there, longer than two 40-foot buses. And the American Locomotive Works manufactured 25 Big Boys for the Union Pacific, between 20 in 1941 and 5 in 1944, along with the Challengers. The Big Boys arrived on the scene just as traffic was surging. So for the first batch of 20, they made UP Big Boys 4000 through 4019, and then the second batch in 1944 was 4020 through 4024. And we do have Big Boy 4014 running again, so we are looking pretty good. And there was two experiments locomotives. 4005 was converted to burn oil in 1946. The effort was unsuccessful due to a single burner in the firebox. It just wasn't enough. It was getting uneven heat. But decades later, they were able to get it down with the 4014. And then, where was the other one at? The other one, 4007, was modified to a single stack in October of 1948. But they turned it back around because it failed as well. And they turned it back around again to dual smokestack. As of today, like we said before, there's 8 surviving examples of the Big Boy. We got 4004, which is in Holiday Park at Cheyenne, Wyoming. 4005, which is in Denver, Colorado. 4006, which is at the National Museum of Transportation in St. Louis, Missouri. 4012, which is at Steamtown in Scranton, Pennsylvania. 4014, which is operational and owned by the Union Pacific in Cheyenne, Wyoming. 4017 in Green Bay, Wisconsin at the National Railroad Museum. 4018, which is at the American Museum of Railroad in Frisco, Texas. And then 4023 in Omaha, Nebraska. So that concludes our little bit of history here on the Union Pacific Big Boy. We're going to watch this thing start its stuff around the layout, and we'll be back with a wrap-up. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's video on the Union Pacific 4014 and the history of the Union Pacific big boys. We enjoy making these kinds of videos for you. I know you guys like the history, so if you like this video and you want to see more videos like this, leave me a comment in the comment section below suggesting what we should do next. I do have some more content coming out for you guys. Just got to get everything recorded here. I'm in the middle of recording stuff right now. So you guys will be seeing some more here lately. Down the road, we'll see some more videos. But if you like today's video, leave a comment, leave a like. And if you would find yourself kindly in your heart, hit that subscribe button. And we'll see you next time back here in the attic.